Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Estrogen levels peaking. It's like she's in heat.
When are you gonna grow up, man? Chicks love cars. If you want to get into their pants, you better have a nice, hot Ferrari.
She's my hot Ferrari. Besides, I love my Mustang, which is a plug-in hybrid. It gets 100 mpg.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Open up my eyes!
Welcome to episode 33 of Schlock Talk. Wondering if Hitler realized that the master race apparently have heads that look like someone dropped a soggy dinner roll on a barbershop floor since 2013. I'm Gabe.
I'm Joel.
I'm a hunkering for a hank of cheese. What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't want to know. And let's move along. We got a guest with us today. You can introduce yourself now.
I'm Julie.
Speak to the mic, Julie. That's Julie.
Julie.
Okay. Not like a weirdo.
Yes.
Julie. Julie. My name is Julie. My name is Craig.
It's Julie. We discovered Julie was locked in Craig's attic.
So I told him not to take the chains off.
We untied her and took the ball gag out of her mouth and tried to remind her what date it was and who the president was, and said, "Hey, let's record a Schlock episode."
It took 2.5 hours and 700 gallons of water to clean her off. But we got her in here now.
So this episode's movie is Unborn 2 from 1994, directed by... Oh, that's not right. I have it listed as Frederick Hobbs, but that's not right. That's that was last week's.
Julie, speaking to the mic or it gets the hose again.
Yeah.
Directed by Rick Jacobson. Anyway. Julie, you haven't seen this movie. What'd you think?
Very enjoyable.
Just looking at the cover art.
Come on, you can give it a little bit more than that. What was your feeling? What were the feelings? What were the feelings going through your mind as the cinematographer entered in on the children on the spinny wheel thingy, going around and around and around for 15 minutes before we all wanted to cry with boredom to get this movie over with? Go ahead, expand.
Oh, was that?
That was you.
Lost me after the first paragraph.
Okay.
It's always a good time.
Julie.
So, okay. So last night, while the rest of the guys were watching Unborn 2, I sent a Facebook message asking what they thought about the movie, and Joel sent back a picture holding a knife to the DVD case, which I took to mean they loved it so much they were holding it for ransom, and the only way I was going to get it back was with a series of vigorous hand jobs. To my surprise, when I arrived in Portland to record this episode, I learned the fellas actually hated the movie, and my penance for putting them through such painful ordeal is going to be... Well, it's going to be very vigorous hand jobs, but they're going to be the kind of joyless undertakings women experienced in Nazi sex camps, not the usual happy-go-lucky endeavors, the only downsides of which are tennis elbow and maybe a case of pink eye. This is especially true with Craig.
You're going to have carpal tunnel when you're done with me.
This is especially true with Craig because there's nothing worse than one fat man jerking off another fat man who has angered up blood.
Wow.
It feels like an angry boner.
But is Unborn 2 really that bad?
I need a hypnotist to erase that image from my mind.
Is Unborn 2 really that bad? Yeah, they totally squander the chance for the sweet, the end, or is it? And the best of all possible Maury Povich baby daddy episodes where Catherine finds out the paternity of Joey between her impotent husband, Jim, the playa who lives down the street, Laquan, and Alakoth, the thousand-eyed ancient one. Hint, it's not Jim or Laquan.
Damn it all.
Actually, the baby in this episode's movie is really the victim in this film. He eats people's faces because he was raised by a mother who taught him to eat people's faces. Much like Tupac, he's both a product of and holding up a mirror to society that created him.
You're still a social worker.
Yeah.
Sure, he looks like the result of a klutzy lab technician who managed to make a goulash of the contents of petri dishes filled with the DNA of newborn Benjamin Button, Kuato from Total Recall, Rifleman era Chuck Connors, and a scrotum dipped in salad oil. But none of these things are really his fault. It's nurture over nature.
Yeah, it's true. It's like a lab tech was just like, I'm going to call this one Sprouge Fruit Cocktail.
It's nurture over nature in much the same way that my love of Steely Dan can be explained by the fact that my dad was a coke-snorting yacht captain.
No, that's why you like Captain and Tennille.
So anyway, the movie, Unborn 2, opens up on a playground, and we see several young children on the merry-go-round swinging and playing ball.
In slow motion.
All over a half-baked Danny Elfman ripoff score.
For 10 minutes.
And a woman looks pensively at the children and asks a little girl to point out Robbie Brown for her. She then puts on her sunglasses, pulls out a gun out of her purse, and blows his stinky booger-eating ass away.
I'm looking for Ronnie Brown.
Every time she's getting ready to kill someone, you'll know the glasses will just come on. For no particular reason.
Are you still Kuato?
And he's got, like, just such a stinky kid face.
Like, I would shoot that kid.
Well, he looks like he's abused because he's got cuts on his arms.
Yeah, that's right. He's, like, fucked up.
And he's lived kind of a hardcore life, and so this lady just blows him the fuck away.
He looks like he's been eating paste recently.
Yes.
And then, like, the sand from the sandbox, maybe a cat turd.
And the parallel is like, you know, Gabe is a social worker, and we were just like, you know what? What would Gabe do? And we're like, yeah, this boy was just a product of physical abuse and sexual molestation from the time he exited the womb. The only solution is end him.
Well, that's kind of what they do, right, Gabe?
He'll be a burden on society.
Otherwise, you're just going to propagate the abuse to the next generation. So
he'll repeat the cycle 10,000 times.
It's kind of like a horse with a broken leg.
Yeah, put it
it's
down.
like, oh, yeah, paste eater. Get the gun.
Put it down and feed
Oh, you
it
got
to
your
dogs.
haircut.
No.
It looks nice.
That was an interesting segue.
Can you hear the lies? It looks nice.
So on a quiet suburban city street nearby, our hero Catherine arrives at her newly purchased home in her Ford Taurus wagon, and she asks her baby Joey if he thinks of the new place, what he thinks of the new place, and he makes some gurgling noises.
Yeah, they're not the gurgling noises of a baby whatsoever. They are some kind of critter.
And Catherine is greeted by her weird neighbors Artie and Marge.
Could they make any more stereotypical a set of neighbors? And you got like the Jewish looking crazy guy with no hair.
That guy was
Hi,
wearing.
how are you doing? I like you. You're a friendly lady.
He was wearing like women's capri pants.
Yeah.
They were
No
like,
belt.
They were like way up past his navel.
Yeah, that was. And then the wife.
He had a
comes
camel
over
toe. I was.
with the vibrant red hair and the not so attractive 400 pounds on her, and just not a pretty sight at all.
It was pretty horrible. I just would have been like, whoa, wrong house.
It was like the Ropers as reimagined.
I think I'm
by
on
Woody
South
Allen.
Burn
Yes.
Street.
And we also meet their slutty daughter Sally Ann, and she smokes.
So
Literally.
when we put
That
this together,
bitch.
we're not sure genetically how she was possible to come forth from these two popular people. Because here she is,
The two
this good-looking blonde girl who popped out of this bald, skinny, scarecrow-looking motherfucker and his just genetically horrible-looking wife, and somehow they put together this beautiful girl.
Yeah,
How
in
does that work?
reality, she kind of would have looked like a redheaded Gonzo.
Yeah, it's pretty funny how
She
genetics
probably
gives
would've
the
been
middle
fucking
finger
chickens.
to probability every once in a while.
Maybe that's how she was conceived.
And so, meanwhile, the police speak with the teacher who was at the playground, and she tells them that the kid who was killed, Robbie, that his IQ was 180 and that was only that low because they didn't have the tools to measure it accurately.
We didn't have a tape measure long enough.
She also mentions that he was violent and he had been in 5 different foster homes.
And he eats paste.
And he eats paste. So we find out that Catherine is a children's book
He
author.
cheats at Pokemon.
That bastard! Unforgivable!
And Artie and Marge invite themselves over, and they see that someone has made a huge erector set model in the dining room, and Artie gets cut fucking around with it. and
I don't
almost
even know
faints
how.
from the sight of blood.
He gets like some little plastic piece, like, I know where this goes. That's legitimately what he fucking says.
Lying for unleaven.
He walks over, he tries to stick it, he goes, ow!
Who puts razor blades on a kid's toy? What's
Yeah.
wrong with you people?
And
His
apparently-
insertion of that screw was going to be the closest he'd gotten to getting any in like the last
ever since
since his daughter
was adopted.
When you're my age,
about.
when you're my age and married to a roe beast like this, anything is fucking more attractive than her.
And so this scene is intercut with a
erector
scene...
set. I'm erect.
I knew you were going to make that joke. I knew it was going to be you.
Yeah, why not Gabe? That's such a Gabe joke.
This is intercut with the scene of the killer lady, Linda, and she has a list of other kids' names with several already crossed off. And so Catherine takes Joey out for a walk, and meets her new neighbor John, as well as another mom. But Joey throws his rattle at her.
Yeah. John already strikes me as creepy because he's one of those like nice, clean-cut guys who's a little too kind to people he comes around. Just a little too nice. Just
Also, this is
fucking
Nick from
creepy.
Family Ties.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember the guy that dated
Yes,
Mallory?
of
Yeah,
course.
it's him.
He was a babe.
Yeah. Not in this one.
No.
This guy is a denim jacket wearing creeper.
Yes.
That's the same character.
He's in...
You can't ruin it for me, guys. He could be dressed in a Nazi uniform eating baby balls.
Will you be my
I'll
Scott
still think he's a
Valentine?
hottie.
So later that night, Catherine meets Sally Ann and bums a cigarette off her, and Sally Ann offers to babysit when needed. This seems like a bad idea. So while Catherine is gone, Joey, who sounds like, well, a hideous mutant, he starts crying, and Sally goes to check on him, but the door to his room is locked.
Yes, locked from the inside.
Yeah, how'd he lock the
So
door?
why hire a babysitter?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We asked it. If you're going to leave the baby locked in the room...
And so while this is happening, Linda, the killer, goes to the local maternity ward and is looking longingly at the babies. And when a nurse tells her it's time to leave, she pretends to get on the elevator, but then she steps off with her gun drawn and starts shooting her some babies.
And her dark,
it's horrible.
Her dark killer glasses.
Yeah.
She walks into
It's
the
go time when the glasses
the
come on.
incubation chamber. When what
What are they, baby chicks? This isn't Foster Farms.
He might as well be. She pulls out her pistol. The lady, the nurse goes, "Hey, you can't be in there," in the most cliche way possible. Runs out, hits the secret glass button that allows her to ring the babies are being murdered.
It's like it's a code. It's a code teal. You know, they have a specific alarm for babies being honored.
Shoot her in the nursery. She fucking dirty Harry's this baby right there in the crib. And then the
Hey, that baby owed her money.
Yeah.
The Indian rent-a-cops come in there.
Like
They're
within like seconds, there's like these sheriffs and a sheriff and a deputy, and they're like from India.
Yeah, they look like the guys you kind of outsourced when you wanted someone to help you with like your tech support.
It's like, please ma'am, drop your gun and put your hands behind your head, please. Thank you for your cooperation.
Shockingly, Craig noticed what race they were.
And then these excellent
Please
rent-a-cop
cooperate.
guys decide to have a firefight in the middle of a nursery was a good idea.
It's like, use the babies for cover.
They're hiding behind the incubators. It's like, this is not okay.
Sparks are flying off of pacifiers.
So Linda manages to escape, but only after she gets shot in the leg.
It would have been cool if she like freaking like busted a hole through the window and like sewed a couple of babies together and used them as a parachute.
So the police arrive at the hospital, and the lieutenant asks his men to see if the security monitors picked anything up. You know, the extended gun battle that took place in a hospital. That one with all the screaming infants.
I want to point out these are the most useless police force in any movie I've ever seen ever. They do nothing throughout the entire movie.
These are the fucking police that will
baby
pray for you
killer
if you're in
strikes
a
again.
fucking crisis.
Let's order some donuts.
Yeah, maybe we'll try to look into this. We're definitely going to pray for you.
Well, baby murders are a little low on our priority list, you know, after purse snatchers.
For
and,
instance, we have
jaywalkers.
reason to believe your neighbor's daughter is smoking cigarettes and she's not 18 years old. We're going to crack that case wide open. Then we'll get to your dead baby.
So in her car, Linda stitches up the bullet wound on her leg.
With her pants on. It looked like she sewed her pants to her leg.
Sewing the jeans to her
Paul
wound.
disappointed. The lack of nudity.
It's true.
She wasn't good
I think it
enough.
was pretty good that there was no nudity in this.
Yeah.
And at her house, Sally Ann shaves her legs in the sink and talks with her mom Marge about how Joey was locked in his bedroom.
So rebellious, shaving
Oh,
her
they
legs.
locked him in the bedroom. That's so terrible.
We got to do something about that.
We're going to get the child services people to come over and take a look at the
Yeah, the
neighbor's
child
house.
services, who is the guy from
We'll get there,
Mad...
we'll get there. Oh, that's okay. So that night, Catherine sees Linda on the news, and the reporter, and she listens to the reporter who refers to the area that they all live in as the Southland, and he does this twice. I thought that was funny. And she goes to check on Joey in his crib, but he's not there, and she finds him playing with the erector set. And I should say we get our first good look at Joey here, and I find this to be a little distasteful.
Yeah.
Why is he constantly covered with what looks like...
Amniotic fluid? That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is.
Mucus.
He's got like this
jelly.
bloody comb over.
Yeah.
He looks like Neil Hamburger with a head wound.
In his car, Lieutenant Briggs gets a report that they found Linda's BMW, and while this is happening, she uses her gun to steal one of the members of Color Me Bad's Lexus. I like the guy that she stole the car from. He was funny. And so, back at the house, Linda tries... Excuse me.
The fact that you brought up Color Me Bad.
Yes. Back at the house...
What was that
Catherine,
song that they had?
I Want to Sex You Up.
Oh, wow.
I wanna set you up.
I'm sorry I asked.
So back at the house, Catherine tries to give a baby bottle to her giant, hairy, glistening scrotum. I mean, Joey. But he won't take it, and he starts throwing a fit, so she feeds him his usual raw meat, which sends him into spasms of infantile orgasmic ecstasy.
Yeah, there's something about just, carving the meat up. It's obviously been, not frozen or anything like that, because it's just oozing blood all over.
Yes.
Maybe he rubs it on himself
Like
all the time.
slurping it.
Maybe. But, he was nice enough to leave little pieces of it still there, and not a lot of cleaning done in the house, unfortunately, but, yeah, it's a little gross.
And so there's a knock on the door, and it's two child welfare workers who've asked to come in, but John arrives, and he interrupts them, and he tells them they can't just come into someone's house without a warrant, and they tell him that they're going to go get one.
Do you have to get a warrant as a child services person?
Yeah.
You can't just go into somebody's house without permission.
Yeah, it's like fuckface from Mad TV and obviously a fucking transvestite trying to fucking intervene on behalf of the state.
Yeah,
and they're like,
how dare they look into that child's welfare? Fuck them! They better keep the hell out of there.
And they're like, all right, that's it. We're going back, but we're coming back with Gabe.
No, the trick was to go interview the kids at school without the parents' permission.
Yeah.
You could do that.
There you go.
There you go.
So anyway.
Well, that kid was a little young to go to school.
Yeah, a little bit.
Doesn't work out well.
So later that afternoon, Catherine goes to the store, and she's being followed by Linda. And Catherine goes to the U-Haul rental place, because presumably she's going to move away now because child welfare came around.
They found us out.
And while she's spying on her, Linda is confronted by Conan's mongoloid brother, Cornhole O'Brien. And then she goes to open the car door, but Joey's not in his car seat.
And I like the old man who she goes in to get the U-Haul trailer from, because what a dick. she comes and is like, I need to rent a trailer. It's like, well, you just returned one. If you'd have had it for the whole week there, you'd have been fine and saved yourself some money on the rental fees. Well, fuck you. What does that matter now? Stop rubbing it in my face.
Yes, thank you for that inconvenient fact, asshole.
So back at the house, Sally Ann hears the noise, and when she checks on it, she finds the front door is open, but it's just her boyfriend Rick playing a prank on her. They totally make out.
He just got done racing the Grease Lightning car in the frickin' Rio Grande ditch. Grease Lightning.
And so while they're dry humping on the couch, the two hear Joey crying upstairs, and they go check on him. And while this is happening,
it was pretty funny because she the thing that disturbed her was that his boner got a little bit bigger when he heard the baby crying.
It was a little weird. I thought that was
I'm sorry, I've got a freaking retarded mutant baby fetish, babe. I can't help it. I was born this way.
Don't judge me.
He whispered gently in her ears, "Can we use the baby's tears as lubricants?"
And so while this is happening, Catherine recognizes Linda from the news, and she chases after her in her station wagon. And during the chase, she nearly runs into samurai cop Joe Marshall, who is now samurai garbage truck driver.
He looked like Weird Al Yankovic on steroids.
I just want to say, he does not appear to find this line of work particularly rewarding. He screams at her for quite a while.
Yeah, and she just sits there and letting him scream at her while her, baby murderer is going away. And it takes her like 20 minutes to circumvent this one street for no particular reason.
So Sally Ann and Rick go into the nursery to check on Joey. And Rick says, "The kid's a fucking freak." I should say that Rick is the smartest person in this movie. And Sally Ann picks up Joey and his moist head and immediately begins biting her on the neck. He then follows this up with a dessert of Rick's fucking face.
No, I thought he went for his balls.
He might have.
He had the crotch cam like zooming in on it. It's like, no!
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Joey was teething.
Yes.
She fucking knew the risks.
He's like a little chimpanzee. Faces and genitals. Faces and genitals.
Go for the weak
Are they
spots.
also covered with embryonic fluid?
They are by the end of it.
So all this is going on.
The end of what?
Whatever ritual they're going through at that point in time.
So while this is going on, Linda shoots the front door of Catherine and Joey's house and breaks inside.
Yeah, 90, she doesn't fucking shoot anything that has a fucking lock mechanism in it. She just shoots around the fucking doorknob.
Hey, listen,
Unlocked!
It worked.
Apparently the door was not really locked in the first place. I think it's what
Linda just doesn't know how to fucking use a doorknob. So apparently she majored in murdering kids and just totally said fuck it to any other kind of fucking common skill.
What's your thoughts on shooting doors, Julie?
Have you ever come home, not been able to get in, pulled out your Magnum revolver and shot a few holes in the door to get through?
I have not.
Okay.
No, there's a first time for everything.
So she finds Joey's room with the dead but attractive teens inside. Just as a
that was the perfect line I've ever heard fucking Gabe say.
And Catherine
We're gonna
arrives.
put that on your tombstone.
Dead but attractive.
Catherine
Gabe
arrives.
likes it when they can't kick and scream.
Catherine arrives and Linda tells her that Joey killed the kids, and she also tells her that someone is controlling her mind, so she can't see how bad Joey really is. This would appear to be some incredibly strong ESP.
Pause for a minute.
Yeah.
Food's here.
Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Okay, so Catherine finds Joey's room with the dead but attractive teens inside, or Linda does. I'm sorry, Linda finds Joey's room with the dead but attractive teens inside, and Catherine.
You're
arrives.
imagining that it's you that finds that room, right?
Yes. And Linda tells Catherine that he's controlling. Joey is controlling her mind so that she can't see how truly evil he is.
Kind of like Craig does to us.
Yes.
So you're the ones who took Julie out of the room.
No, Craig's still a top-notch guy. He's spot on. He's good. What are you talking about? He saved my life in Vietnam. No, I meant World War II, remember?
I took those Nazis out for you bitches.
They used to call it Brooklyn.
He gave me a kidney, a heart, and a lung and a brain. Like, that fucking guy's been there for me.
So the police and the paramedics arrive, and Lieutenant Briggs tells Catherine that Linda, who has just escaped, had a deformed child, and they think she has a vendetta against normal, healthy babies.
But they don't fucking know where the fuck she is. Like, police should fucking know.
I would know, too, that he has never seen Joey.
We have a theory about the killer. She might have a reason to kill.
It's like this fucking...
That one fell flat.
Terror has, invaded her home, right? Okay, assuming that we're taking her fucking psychotic side. And the police are still all like, yeah, we're gonna find this killer. We're gonna find this killer. Okay, I want police staked out at every adult video shop, every bar.
Every strip club.
Yes, every strip club. Anywhere where a baby would go.
And the most unbelievable part of this movie happens next. Because when they wheel the daughter out, dead under the blanket, You don't see the fat Jewish mom run out and like stage dive on top of her and go, "No, my baby! My baby!
There's no God! There's no God!"
That was in her contract, Craig. No stage dive.
We also learned that both Catherine and Linda were patients at the same fertility clinic with their specialist, Dr. Meyerling. Which
Dr.
I think
Gabe.
That must be a callback to the first one.
I wish they would have like flashbacked and like had them like exchange a glance and like, is your husband as sterile and unvirile as mine?
So is this based on that true story where the guy like he had that clinic and he was just like
Filling all the vials.
Yeah, he was filling all the vials, right?
He's making a deposit in all the vials.
Yes.
So this is a true story, right?
Yes, this is absolutely.
Well, that guy's got some ugly semen, man. Let me tell you.
And Catherine also tells the lieutenant that Joey is handicapped, and I think she may be selling him a bit short because Joey is clearly a straight-up circus freak.
He's different. He's unique.
He's special. Everyone assumes that
Unique
Joey...
to fucking drown that baby in a sack. That's what unique to do.
Everybody assumes that Joey, who is missing, has been kidnapped by Linda. And John arrives and comforts Catherine and tells her that he will help her to find the baby. He even gets her a glass of water because he would apparently really, really like to hit that.
Yeah. This guy has got this like crazy fucking single mom boner fetish like going on.
What is the worst time in your life you could hit on a woman? When her baby has just been kidnapped and is going to be killed. Here he is kissing her hands and making jokes and trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
Hey, a murder just happened in the bedroom of the child, and the baby's gone.
I just want you to know.
That's hilarious!
You look lovely today.
Hey, how many dead teenagers / missing babies does it take to change a light bulb?
So that
Do
night,
you like Italian?
That night, while mopping blood up off the
Carpet? Yeah, she's like fucking squeegee mopping the blood off a black ass carpet.
Catherine finds blood-covered Joey hanging out in the hallway, and he tells her, telepathically, I guess, that he had been hiding.
I was just digging up the rose bed.
So
bad, Joey.
The next morning, the social workers arrive
He's got
back
a dead
at the house.
possum in his mouth.
Yeah.
With the guy going, let me do it.
Stop it, Stuart.
The social workers arrive the next morning and they find Catherine asleep on sedatives in the car. And they have their warrant now, so they go into the house to look for Joey, and the lady social worker finds the leftovers of Joey's raw meat dinner. Now, I can speak from experience that no child welfare worker worth their salt would sit on someone's couch, much less start picking up
first
chunks of raw
fondle
meat
the
with their
fucking
raw-
meat chunks.
First of all, that wasn't his leftover dinner. That's just where she combed his hair.
Do you think it would have been odd if the cops didn't find this the night before or anything like that? A little bit odd? I don't know.
Mind if we have a look around the house? It looks like your baby might not be normal.
Of course, they are these cops, and they're like, well, you know what's going on right here? Something really terrible. Let's go over there.
Now, my detective instincts would tell me to look further into this, but I'm just going to get right the fuck out of here.
So the two social workers look around and they hear Joey gurgling in the closet. And Joey jumps out and starts gnawing on the dude's neck and face. And while the lady is freaking out, John shows up and snaps her neck.
Yeah, I like how when they were going in the closet...
I thought he was going to make out with her.
Yeah,
Dude,
it was weird.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get over this chick. Like, she's like such a transvestite. Like, just like look at her manly face.
She's
She
a little mannish.
looks like fucking Andy Serkis from fucking the fucking Lord of the Rings.
We love you so much.
The precious tries to kill us.
So Linda shows up at the house too. Grand Central Station, am I right? And she
Like
holds,
a night at Gabe's house.
yes. And she holds Catherine at gunpoint and makes her take her into the house. And she tells Catherine that Joey is only letting her live because he needs her breast milk.
Yes, right. Raw meat and breast milk.
And
How do
Linda,
you feel about that, Julie?
You ever had a hankering?
Julie, would you breastfeed this baby?
Breast milk. Only if he was 10.
Linda tells Catherine that she had a mutant offspring as well and that her name was Grace. and that she was not normal.
You may remember Grace from a previous podcast we had.
Yes, go listen to Star
Pretty
Crash.
sure it's the
That's
same person.
She says
she snapped like some other girl's neck on the playground and started eating her from the ass to the brain. Some shit. Total normal, healthy kid stuff.
Yeah, she says that Grace killed a kid down the street and also her husband, and she reveals a scar on her neck from where Grace tried to kill her too.
And don't you mean a scar on her forehead where Lord Voldemort
You wanna see my
tried to
Grace
kill
scar?
her? Because she's that special.
And she makes Catherine go upstairs and try and coax Joey out of hiding.
Well, doesn't the cop show up first at this point? Because they like knock on the door and she's like, "You better tell him, I'm not here."
Oh, that's right.
And so she goes to the door, she opens it up, and in the most obvious "I'm being held at gunpoint" speech ever, I'm okay. You can come back later. I feel tired. I don't want to talk to you guys right now. And the cops are all looking at her, they're squinting, they're like, "Okay, we'll come back later."
What was it last night you were saying? Like, I think she's hiding something or something like that. Yeah. We should go right to the precinct.
She's definitely hiding something. I need to go get a donut. Something like that was going on.
So Linda barges into Joey's room to try and shoot him, but John is there, and he shoots her first.
Didn't see that coming. And
John tells Catherine that he's there to protect Joey from people who want to hurt him. And I can only assume that John heard somewhere that Catherine is into anal.
It was hard because I think Paul was onto something. He thought that, Scott Valentine was actually Joey from the future, trying to come back and, give birth to himself. But even then, he didn't... Maybe his sperm time
that
travels,
could have been the
too.
whiskey called cockfight talking.
I think it was.
It was making sense for a while. Why is he so fixated on this baby?
We got very detailed into our thought planning on how this was all going to work out, and just all around, we were kind of confused why this fucking guy even cared about this baby, because we don't even know who is he.
At one point, we got a whiteboard out.
Yeah, we got yarn, and we're fucking drawing lines from different characters. Because we're like, we should totally give the writers of this shit movie more credit than they deserve.
Well, hey, if Scott Valentine's going to be in a movie, it had to have made some sense, right?
Yeah, Scott Valentine doesn't make garbage.
He also tells Catherine that it's the only time anyone has permission to say that. Just once. Just once. Craig is dying in there. We're continuing to podcast.
He's just coughing up a lung. He's fine.
He gave one to Joel back in WW2.
Yeah.
I have to follow that up.
But he seems almost too kind. What
you
is
might
he
want to use the
hiding?
backyard, Julie.
I've done that before.
Craig, are you okay?
I'm not sure.
He also tells...
I took down that cockfight.
Yeah, Schlock is giving him cancer.
Did you say you took down the cock the wrong way?
Yeah, pretty much.
He also tells Catherine that the new super intelligent children will save humanity, and then he shoots her in the arm.
Yes, the super intelligent children constantly covered with amniotic fluid.
Yeah, and he follows this up by kissing Joey on the head, but there's no way this really happened, because afterwards his lips don't look like he gave a blowjob to a bottle of KY gel. Am I right?
Mixed with ketchup.
A little sleight of hand there, a little optical illusion. I didn't really kiss that disgusting, slimy forehead.
So Catherine finds Linda's gun, which is downstairs somehow.
Yeah, because it would have been funny if she would have been like, Linda, throw me the gun! Linda, throw me the gun!
And she goes to get Joey, but John pops out and he starts shooting at her. A John Woo-style gun battle ensues.
Yeah.
Now, all this time, is Joey, telepathically communicating? Is he saying, he's like...
At one point.
Mommy.
Oh, we haven't even gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Feed me.
I do like the gunfight, because I'm pretty sure they were standing maybe 7 feet away from each other.
And missing.
Shot 17 times and never managed to connect with a bullet.
Yeah, he even reloads at one point.
Yeah, we were commenting on that because she doesn't. She can shoot 915
She flips
bullets.
a card table?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fucking straight up saloon shootout.
Just breaks a bottle of sarsaparilla over the piano player's head.
But in the end, she's able to sneak up on John, and she blows him away. And she goes back to the living room to find Joey, but he's gone. And he goes back into the bedroom and shuts the door, but Catherine coaxes him out, offering him a trip to go get new erector set pieces. And so later on, Catherine goes to the bedroom and she can hear Joey scampering around. And he jumps out and slaps her right across her bitch face. And then he sneaks up behind her and bites her on the leg.
And even though he's got no fingernails, these marks that he leaves in her face...
Like a fucking tiger scratched her
They're
fucking
not really
face.
scratches. It's more like, blood drawing.
Is it just infectious fluid that he's leaked from his fingertips onto her?
It's just little smeared placenta pieces.
So somehow he makes his way into the attic and she follows him and she says, "Get over here now!" And he says, "Mama!" a couple of times.
Oh, you're all forgiven. You're such a sweet angel.
When she goes to pick him up, she falls through the attic floor into the hallway below.
Trap time!
Yeah.
That infant set up that trap weeks ahead of time by pouring water on the floor to weaken the floorboards and rot it out and get her ready.
And so Joey jumps down after her, and then this is then followed by the greatest intergender/intergenerational wrestling match in cinema history. And she drops a couple of flying elbows on him.
Oh my god, when she's smashing him in his face into the wall?
Yeah, she pushes him against the wall, takes her forearm and starts slamming it into his head. Where was child services at that point in time?
Dead, that's what they were.
They would have been applauding.
Yeah, kill that baby.
Then she flings him against the wall, and then he runs away. But she runs away, but he crawls after her into the kitchen. And while fighting off Joey, Catherine turns on the gas stove.
Oh, puts fucking MacGyver all of a sudden.
Yeah. And she puts an aerosol can into the microwave and turns it on. And Joey bites her on the legs. Yes.
Yeah, at exactly 1 minute.
Common knowledge. Come on.
Yeah.
And so Joey bites her on the leg again, and she slashes his face with a knife. Although it should be noted in this way, in no way alters his attractiveness. And Joey then starts.
It makes him look cooler.
Joey then starts to mesmerize Catherine with his mind powers and tries to get her to stab herself with the knife. And he says, "Bye-bye."
His little sausage fingers are spreading back and forth, like he's magicking her with his superpowers.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
She's totally looking at the knife I'm in this movie. It kind of makes sense for me to impale my own fucking head at this juncture.
It's like a big slice of pizza. Nom, nom, nom.
And while this has been happening, we've been seeing the microwave countdown, and it dings, which causes Catherine to come out of her trance, and she jumps out of the window just before the house explodes into a fireball.
Because any more or any less time on the microwave, and that shit wouldn't have happened.
Who knew that had the effective power of a neutron bomb? Because that house fucking goes up, man.
And I gotta
I'm
say,
pretty sure it was a mushroom cloud that came out of that thing.
Well, that house was built out of balsa.
for a movie with a demonic mongoloid baby, it's really action packed. There's some crazy fucking shit there. She was in.
Was
the
this
shit.
Michael Bay's first movie?
And as she's being placed into the ambulance, Lieutenant Briggs tells her that the baby is gone. And
Briggs?
the credits roll.
And
I'm getting too old for this shit.
he did not go on to an illustrious career after this movie.
It's called career suicide.
So that's the end of the movie. Would you guys watch this again?
No. Why would
I'd make
watch
you
this
watch
much?
it again so you learned your lesson.
Hey, listen, I bought this movie.
Oh, I guess there's no getting through to you then. I'm sorry, you're too far gone, man.
Yes.
We need to put you in cinematic hospice care or some shit like
If
that.
I hand you a kitchen knife, will you look at it longingly and then stab yourself in the eye?
I don't think so.
This podcast was actually an intervention, and we failed.
Yeah, now we're 30 episodes into this intervention with no end in sight.
We'll never get the courage to tell Gabe he's crazy.
So we want to end this particular episode with a 5-minute monologue by Julie about what she thought of the whole experience.
Julie, would you come back?
I would prefer to see the movie next time.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I don't know
Currently
about that
sitting
one.
here. I'd also prefer to start drinking a little earlier before going on.
Any STDs? Sorry, that's Schlock Talks Do's and Don'ts.
Herpes. Wait,
I have a do.
I have a couple, actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
wow.
so we just got cable again.
Yeah.
El Rey Network.
The El Rey, the
Is it-
king?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Hispanic?
wrestling for Hispanic people?
There is a lot of Mexican wrestling on there,
Okay.
yes. But they play a lot of... It's Robert Rodriguez's cable channel.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
They play a lot of cool... I watched Road Warrior. They had Road Warrior. After 9 p.m., everything's uncut.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they have that wrestling show, and I can't remember what it's called, but
wonder if I
apparently
get this
everybody
channel.
loves it. But, I don't know.
Fantastic. On Netflix, Wolf Cop just hit.
Yes.
What?
Has anyone seen that yet?
No, I'm gonna
I
watch
watched
it
the
though.
first half.
Okay. Did you get to the transformation scene?
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta give it its props for this.
Yeah.
Okay, there's been werewolf movies before, but never has one had a transformation scene that takes place while the guy's dick is out taking a piss. And that's the first thing that transforms.
Oh God, that's gotta be nice for the
Okay.
You got my attention.
We're watching it. Yeah, it's happening.
It's got some great over-the-top gore. Just
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's kind of a fun, campy movie. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah, we'll definitely watch it.
And then I
Definitely
watched
watch the
Starry Eyes. Did you get all the way through that?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's no Unborn 2.
No, thankfully not. No, but I liked it. I thought it was very creepy.
When that girl's face gets bashed in,
Oh my God!
that's crazy.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
And it looked like they rubbed her face on Joey's head.
That's just cruel.
Any other ones? Anybody? Joel?
I do have a Schlock Talk due, but if you're ever instant streaming Netflix, you need to check out Danger 5.
Oh, yeah.
Great freaking movie. Comes from Australia. Probably one of the best fucking things. My life's better because of this
It's
shit.
a series, right?
It's a series, and so they've got series 1, which is based off of like all the 60 shows and like the 60s action shows.
Like James Bond.
Kind of like James Bond stuff, yeah. And it's
Avengers.
just real, complete, cheesy, great stuff. So much attention to detail in this show. And then they also have the series 2, which is all based off 80s.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
the cinematography, I've only seen the first episode of series 2, and the cinematography is spot on. They did
Is
their
it the
fucking
same cast?
homework. Yeah, it's the same cast, and it's all 80s themed after series 2. Yeah, so it's just fucking batshit insane. It's really good shit.
And Hitler is the bad guy.
Hitler is the bad
Like every
guy.
episode?
Every episode, they're trying to kill Hitler.
It's like the first season of Wonder Woman.
The main... There are people that just show up randomly with, like, owl heads.
Yeah, exactly. Tiger heads and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. You will love it the moment you watch it.
There's one episode in the first season where the bad guys are all dinosaurs.
Yeah. It's a bunch of Nazi
Yes.
dinosaur men.
Amazon women. Yeah, it's great. And it's really fun.
It's
really.
good. Like they like really captured like the eras in each different series. It's just amazing.
How about you, Julie?
So you anything good lately?
No, I read. I'm a reader.
A reader.
What have you
Tell
been
us
reading?
about this.
For instance,
How do you say this?
The Unborn 2 was a better book than it was a movie.
Reading?
Translate well.
Yes.
Is that where you paint things red, Paul? Yeah,
Unborn 2, based on the William Faulkner novel.
I just read Crank, the written novel.
Unborn 2, yeah. Oprah, her book club recommended it.
I thought it was War and Peace and Unborn too. I don't know.
Oh, that's really funny. All right. Well, I think
What is
that's-
this? Is this Chinese Nutty Professor you've got on here?
Oh, no,
It
this
looks
is
like
that
it.
Seventh Curse movie.
Well, Julie, thanks for coming.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
So the first episode that we did was this movie called Emmanuel in America, and Joel didn't watch it.
I haven't
I
seen
was
it
happy
yet.
I missed that. Was that with the horse?
The horse
Yeah, I heard about
I
that.
admit, I gotta
Pretty
see it.
infamous.
and torture and rape. And,
I was gonna like.
but Joel, one of the first things he asks is, "Who's this Emmanuel guy?"
Emmanuel.
Which actually, you guys, I have a copy of on my computer, so we can cover it
Thank God.
soon.
I gotta finally see
In a little
it.
while. Yeah.
We gotta get back to our roots. We're like
Our
so
roots.
far away from expletive.
We're just so much different than what we started out to do.
We used to be raw.
There was no-
we used to be hardcore.
There was no bestiality in Unborn 2.
It's all this fucking G-rated shit.
The worst thing that happened in this movie is someone put a gun to a baby's head and pulled the trigger. What kind of pussy nonsense is that?
All right, so don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Talking Schlock.
Write to us at craigisnotracist at gmail.com.
And subscribe to our YouTube account. Just type in Schlock Talk. It'll take you right to it. Good night.
Good night.
Sleep tight.